All right. Good morning. Last class of 2022. And we're going to start with the balls. I'm going to adjust this just the tiniest little bit. There we go. See if I can make it real straight. There we go. All right. So let's start with the balls on the feet. Just one at a time. And leaning in and rolling out the bottoms of the feet. And you can have your hands on the hips or anywhere that's comfortable to just lean your weight in and roll. And this will be focused mainly on unwinding through the core. So if you have two balls, grab two balls. If you don't have two balls, grab a folded towel or a rolled up towel. And we're just going to roll a couple more times across this first foot. And then we're going to find that metatarsal arch right there. Put the ball in there and then just lean your weight in. A couple of breaths here. Now, if it doesn't feel like much, try opening and closing the toes. Just notice what happens. Couple more breaths here in this first spot. Maybe you can lean in a little bit more. And then we'll roll, roll, roll again. So just rolling out from the metatarsal down to the heel, from the outer edge of the foot to the inner arch of the foot. Just lean your weight in. And then we're going to find another spot. So maybe you want to find a spot in that big arch, or really anywhere that feels pretty juicy. Find a spot and then lean in. Ooh. If it serves you to open and close the toes for where you're leaning in, try that. Otherwise, just lean your weight in. Deepen your breath. And then go ahead one more time, roll it out. And then we'll come into the heel of the foot. And just lean into the heel. You can bring your toes to the mat to steady yourself. You don't have to keep your toes lifted. Lean that weight in. A couple of breaths here. This one might not feel like as much, but it's a place where a lot of stuff attaches. So see if you can stay with it a couple more breaths. And then ever so gently, roll it out. One more times. Same foot. And then we're going to step off the ball. Notice the difference between the foot you just rolled out and the one that hasn't been rolled out yet. And then bring that same feeling of joy into the other foot, just leaning the weight in. And start leaning your weight in and rolling out the opposite foot. Roll, 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 roll. See how much of your weight you can give over to the ball. And then we'll start to find that place, that metatarsal arch, that smaller arch behind the toes. See if you can bring your weight onto the ball there. And then see what it feels like to open and close the toes, just extend the toes. One more. Really lean in. One more breath here. Open and close the toes. And then when you're ready, back to rolling. Keep rolling from the outer edge all the way to the inner arch, from the top to the bottom. Keep going. And then we're gonna lean in, find a place the big arch to lean in. In your weight. You're welcome to open and close the toes here if it feels nice, so you can just let the foot drape over the ball, just leaning in the weight, getting a little bit of compression there. And then ease off and roll it out one more time. Once again, see if you can roll all the way over to the outer edge of the foot and then into the arch. The last place we're going to find a lean in is the heel. So go ahead and roll it out through the whole foot. One more time. And then find a spot in the heel. You can bring the toes to rest on the mat. Just lean in. Ah. Couple more breaths. And then roll it out one more time. All right, so we're going to start with the feet, work our way up the legs into the hips, into the lower back, shoulders. See if we can unwind the whole central core today. Go ahead and take another few rounds there. And then release, set the ball aside. And we're just going to start by making circles with the pelvis. So take your hands to either side of the hips and just make a big circle wherever you're standing. You can take the feet wider apart. And then gently change the direction of the circle. And we're going to sweep down the meridians on the outside of the legs. So starting with the hands on the kidneys and the lower back, just take a full breath in. And we'll bring the hands out to the side of the body and sweep down the outside of the legs. Up to the tops of the foot by the pinky. And then we're going to sweep up on the inside arch, up the inside of the legs, up into the inner groin, and then back to the kidneys. Take a full breath in, full breath out. Two more like that, just sweeping. Down and out, up and in. Back to the kidneys, full breath in, full breath out. Last one, sweeping down the legs, outside edge of the legs, and then up. And then go ahead and just take a little shake here. Take a little shake to shake off whatever you're ready to let go of. We're going to grab our block, our steadiest block. If you have a wood block, something steady. If you have a foam block and it's really soft, maybe grab a book. We're going to come into a Malasana squat on the block, on the highest setting of the block. So if you need something for your hands, just grab another block. We're going to bring ourselves into a wide feet, heels and toes out, and see if we can sit on that block, the widest setting, highest setting. And here we're just going to allow the tailbone to relax. See if you can bring the shoulders over the hips if you're leaning forward at all. And then we're just going to have a little play. So wherever you feel balanced with your hands, you could have your hands at heart center, you could have your hands up to the side. We're going to see if we can lift one leg, maybe roll out the ankle, and then set it down, and then see if you can do that with the other leg. So just using a little stabilizers here. Roll out the ankle and then back in. And then maybe you can take the leg out, point and flex the foot. And then bring the leg back in, lift the leg, point, flex, and then back in. Take another full breath in, full breath out. One more. So you can either lift the leg or maybe step it out and in, out and in. If you want to slide and glide it across the floor, however you want to move here, just explore. One more movement, same side, and then bring it in. Take a full breath, and then other side. So you'd be gliding it out. You'd be stepping. One more. And then back in. Go ahead and take your hands out to the side. And here on the block, we're going to take thumbs down, look down at the feet, round the back, a little seated cat. And then thumbs up at the ceiling, maybe moving behind you, little seated cow. So getting some flexion and extension in the spine, looking down at the belly, down at the feet, and then up at the sky, arching and rounding the back. Take a couple more, whatever feels good here. Last one. Lovely. We're gonna come off the block. Set the block aside, have your bolster or your rolled up towel handy. And we're gonna come to the balls on the back. So I'm gonna move the camera a little closer. We're gonna start with our bodies at the top of the mat because we'll be rolling our bodies down towards the foot end of the mat. We're gonna take these two balls, hopefully of two, bring them down anywhere along the top of the pelvis. So around the sacroiliac joint, and we're gonna just roll side to side. So here, it doesn't have to be too exact, just somewhere where you can start to give your body weight up to the balls. We're just gonna take it side to side. Now, if you don't have two balls, you can use a rolled up towel here and just move up and down a little bit on the rolled up towel, or even just stay on the rolled up towel. So just rolling side to side, round in circles, whatever feels good, just getting all up in there, coming out with the balls towards the hip joints. Sometimes they roll out from underneath you, you might have to reset them. And we're gonna let the balls come out towards the side. Now you might feel as they get closer to the edge of the body that it can feel a bit, you'll feel it there in that joint where the femur tucks into the pelvis. So see if you can find a spot on each side that maybe feels a little tender, but it's towards the outer edges of the body. If you want more, you can bring your legs up and in. You'll get a little bit more weight. Or you could have your legs in bridge prep, or you could extend your legs long. We're going to find a spot there towards the outside edges of the body. Let the balls just sink in and allow our weight to just release to gravity. We're going to stay here for about a minute or so. So find a spot that feels okay. Doesn't feel like too much, something you can relax into, and then start playing with the breath. See if you can take a nice big deep inhalation, and as you exhale, just release the weight of the body into the tennis ball, or into, if you have a towel there, into a rolled up towel. I'm just going to take about 5 more breaths here. So as you exhale, start to become a little bit more aware. If there's anywhere that you might be holding the body above the ground. So maybe your legs are a little bit tight and you're kind of holding them lifted. What would happen if you just allowed gravity to take the legs a little closer to the mat? Or maybe you notice you're tight somewhere in the buttocks. Maybe you could just give that a squeeze and then release. If you have any lower back tension, just bring the knees in towards the chest or bend the knees, the feet on the mat. Taking a couple more breaths here. And then if you've extended the legs, go ahead and bend the knees, feet back on the mat. Pick up the pelvis, press in the feet, pick up the pelvis, bring the balls towards the center. And again, start just rolling out from that center point. Side to side, round and round, whatever feels good here. And then we're gonna bring the balls towards each other and find a low point. So maybe just right above the crack of the bum. So we're going to work along the sacroiliac joint where the spine tucks into the pelvis. So anywhere along here, we're going to find a point that we can, once again, relax the weight of the body into. So bring the balls towards each other. And then again, yogini's choice. You can let the legs go long. You can have the knees bent, feet towards the ceiling. See if you can find a spot here. And again, if there's any tension in low back, just bend the knees. Hands could be on the body or alongside the body. Keep the breath nice and deep. On the exhale, see if you can notice anywhere where you're holding tension in the body, holding the body above the mat, above the ground, and just relax into it. Relax into the force of gravity. Relax into the support below you. And then check in with yourself, do a little scan from the crown of the head, the center of the brain, down into the mouth. If you're holding any tension in your tongue, see if you can allow the tongue to relax. If you're holding any tension in the jaw, see if you can allow the jaw to relax. If you're holding any tension in the throat, see if you can allow the throat to relax. One more breath here. And then bend the knees. We're going to see if we can just take a little circle around the balls or a little half circle, a little moving side to side, just moving out from that area where we just were holding the balls. And then coming up and along that sacroiliac joint and just rolling a little up and down. So now taking the balls a little bit further apart and just rolling just on the back shelf of the pelvis. So we've been going side to side. See if you can find just a little roll here. Up and down. And then we're going to find somewhere still on the shelf of the pelvis, still around that sacroiliac joint, but now up a little higher. We're going to find a place where we could settle into. So if you go all the way to the top, you're going to start getting the soft tissue. See if you can stay on the bone of the pelvis. Find somewhere along that sacroiliac joint to settle in. And then continuing on with that scan, coming into the area of the shoulders. See if you can relax the shoulders down to the mat. On your next breath in, see if you can allow that expansiveness, that sense of expansion around the heart. Notice if you're holding any tension in the belly. See if you can let the belly fall towards the spine. And then as you bring your awareness into the pelvis, maybe you notice somewhere inside the pelvis where you're holding tension. See if you can just invite that tension to disperse. And again, it's up to you how you want to have your legs here. Just know that if you bend the knees, you'll protect the low back. Take another few breaths here. So we're going to be moving up the spine with these two balls side by side. You want to keep them off the actual bone of the spine and just on the muscles on either side of the spine. We're going to move an inch or two each time, find a place to settle, and then just breathe there. You're going to stay on your back. I'll come up every once in a while to just show you, give you ideas. But basically, we're going to work along these bands of muscles on either side of the spine, just rolling up maybe 2 inches, 1 inch, inch and a half each time. I'll guide you so we're staying sort of on the same levels, but you want to just find a space where you can relax into. It doesn't make you want to jump out of your skin. So wherever you're at, go ahead and bend your knees if they're not already bent, press into the feet. We're going to roll down. See if we can find around the top of the pelvis. Now there it can be a little bit tender. So if it feels quite tender, go either up or down so that it feels like you could relax your weight into the balls. Settle in and just relax there. Take another few here. I think I lost my headphones. So if you can't hear me, give me a shout and chat. If you can't hear me, I don't know if you can hear me say that. We're going to take about 5 more breaths wherever you're at. One more big full breath in. As you exhale, letting the body get even more connected to the earth and the mat. Noticing if there's anywhere from the crown of the head all the way down to the tailbone, invite to relax. And if the legs are extended, bend the knees, press into the feet. We're going to lift the pelvis. We're going to roll down. So now we're somewhere between the bottom of the rib cage and the top of the pelvis. So getting into a little bit of behind that place where there's nothing bony, soft. You can allow the pelvis all the way to the mat, allow the shoulders to be on the mat, and just lifting there behind the belly button, somewhere behind the belly button. Remember, hands can stay on the mat or on your belly, more on the body. And then here, using the breath to go deeper. So perhaps making the inhalation a little deeper, perhaps really fully releasing on exhalation. About 5 more breaths here. And then before we move out of this position, we're going to take that body scan again from the crown of the head to the inner eye, down into the mouth and the throat. Relax the tongue, relax the jaw, relax the back of the throat. Your chin is pointed way up towards the ceiling, relax the chin towards. Take a big deep breath in as if you're breathing in underneath the collarbone, around the area of the heart. As you exhale, release the gravity. Let that body scan continue down to the belly, above the balls. Let that belly release the gravity, and then let your awareness continue down to the area of the pelvis. And just inviting anything in the area of the pelvis to legs. If the legs are extended, bend the knees, bring the feet to the mat, lift the pelvis. If you can roll now just to right below the lower rib cage. Find a spot there. Now, if you're getting into the area where the diaphragm attaches in the back, so it might feel tender, you can take the balls wider out towards the sides of the body. You can move them up or down so it doesn't feel like you want to jump out of your human suit. Take any adjustments you'd like to feel more comfortable. Hands in the body or off the body, legs extended or knees bent, and then settle in with the breath. Here, since we're connecting with the diaphragm, see if you can imagine that big diaphragm muscle like a billow, moving with the breath. You visualize that smooth movement of the diaphragm. You take inhale, exhale, maybe just a little bit deeper, a little bit longer. A few more breaths here. So it can be intense. So see if you can just allow the body to relax into gravity. Then if you're just pouring yourself on, bend the knees. One more breath. Feet on the mat. Press into the feet. Lift the pelvis. We're going to start coming up into rib cage here. So seeing the balls maybe just below the heart center to start. You might feel, all of this might feel tender. So when you find something that feels super tender, see if you can find a better spot to feel not so. Maybe it's out from the center of the spine, maybe it's up or down a little bit. We get into the ribs, have these hills and valleys of the rib cage, each rib. So definitely you want to be in a valley, the muscle between the ribs, not on the rib. The body will probably find that space naturally. Find your spot and then just breathe. Get that body scan again. Notice if you're holding anything from the crown of the head, that's the center of the mind, the mouth, relax the jaw, relax the tongue, relax the throat. Breathe into the collarbones, that area around the heart, relax that whole area of the shoulder. Then letting your awareness carry on down past where the balls are, down into the belly, down into the pelvis, loosening and relaxing. The legs are extended, go ahead and bend the knees, bring the feet onto the mat. We're going to start moving up. See if we can find now the bottom of the shoulder blade. So that spot right between, right underneath the shoulder blade. Coming down a little bit. Just finding that area, bottom of the blade. You can find a spot to ease into and pour yourself over. Again, spot. We want to avoid being on the bone. We want to be on the muscular part around the bone. Find the spot where you can allow yourself to pour over the ball. Get up the heart. Few more breaths here. And then go ahead and bend the knee, feet back on the mat. Now we're going to roll between wherever we're on the balls now and up to the top of the shoulders. So we're going to roll out that area of the shoulder blade. Now we want to stay off the actual bone of the shoulder blade. Come into that band of muscle between the shoulder blade. So find the bottom of it. And then here, just ever so gracefully, see if you can lift the body and just roll yourself up and down. Take a couple rolls, roll it out. If the balls start to go jiggy and not symmetrical, just bring yourself back down and adjust them. We're going to find a spot in the middle of the shoulder blade, on the band of muscle between the shoulder blade and the spine. Now getting in that area behind the heart. That might change the angle of the head and the chin. So gently keep your head from extending so you don't look behind you. Send the legs long or the legs bent, the knees point up. If you can make your next breath a little bit deeper, a little bit longer, Legs are extended. Go ahead and bend the knees. Gonna find our roll up and down the shoulder blades. Oh, yeah. From the top to the shoulder. A couple more rolls there. And then we're gonna find one more spot up towards the top. Almost where the neck comes to the shoulders. So towards the top. Find that spot. And then extend the leg. That feels nice. Reset. Hands to the body or off the body. Close out the eyes. Couple breaths. And then one last time with the body scan. Crown of the head. The exterior of the brain. To the back of the black tongue, relax the jaw. Relax. Breathe into the area around the heart. So you can connect to those collarbones and then exhale, relax. The belly fall towards the spine and let your awareness get down the center channel. I think anything in the area of the pelvis realize will be tension. Few more breaths here. And then you should be able to reach back and grab the ball out. Set the ball to the side, bring your knees towards the chest, rock a little side. We're gonna rock and roll up and down the spine. So you can bring your fingertips to the back of the leg and just roll on the back, however feels nice. If you're going through a flat spot, stay there and round it. And then we're gonna roll all the way up. We'll come into a nice twist here. So bring your bolster or your pillow, whatever you have with you, to the side of the body. We're gonna have deer legs, so deer. Doesn't matter which side you start with. Slip the front foot in the inner thigh, back leg, but it's just back. Doesn't matter if these legs sort of change, shift. We're gonna bring the bolster to the side body, and then come around. See if you can bring your chest towards the direction of the bolster, and then walk your chest on. We'll start with the head pointing the same direction as the leg, the knee. And just start here. See if you can allow gravity to do all the work. Take a couple more breaths here with the head facing the same direction as the leg. And then go ahead and press in the hands, lift the head, turn to the other cheek, put the other cheek on the bolster. See how that feels. If it feels nice, stay there. If it doesn't feel great, turn the head back to face the same direction. And then settle back in. About another minute here, so stay with the breath. And if you turn the head, look behind you, go ahead and lift up the head, turn it back the same direction as the leg. Couple more breaths here. And then we'll start to walk the hands back to the shoulders. Press up. Bring ourselves around so we can windshield wiper out the legs. Just let the knees go to one side and then the other. And you can let your legs go all the way to the other side and turn yourself all the way around. We'll still be on the other side. And then walk your chest onto the bolster. Start with the head facing the same direction as the leg. Level in there. And then see how the press into the hands, lift the head, and turn the other cheek. Put the other cheek down. And settle in. So here we're twisting out around that area that we just worked our way all the way up from the pelvis up to the shoulders. See if you can extend your breath with that feeling of spaciousness. And as you exhale, see if you can release anything else to gravity to take the shape of this twist around the central channel any deeper. And if you turn the head to look behind you, go ahead and find one more breath here. And then turn the head, bring the other cheek back onto the bolster. Looking the same direction as the leg. And then start to press into the hands. Bring yourself back up. And then we're going to windshield wiper out the legs one more time. So now you have the back of the pelvis towards the bolster. We're going to grab our other blocks, pillows, towels, and come into supported butterfly here. So you can bring the soles of the feet together. You can bring things underneath the knees. The feet don't have to be so close to the pelvis. They can be quite far. We'll bring that bolster right into the lower back. Play that. Now, if that's a lot of tension in your pelvis, bend the knees, feet on the mat, lift the pelvis, tuck the tailbone, and then come back into it so you have enough space in the low back to be comfortable. Bring something underneath your legs so they're not just hanging in space. And then go ahead and tuck one shoulder blade down under and then the other shoulder blade down under, and see if you can bring the hands alongside the body. Close off the eyes, settle into this supported butterfly. Finding and then once again, let's take that body scan from the top of the head down to the central channel, relaxing the mouth, and the jaw, relaxing the throat. Breathing into the area underneath the collarbones, relaxing the shoulders. Relaxing the heart, relaxing the belly, relaxing the pelvis. From your reclined butterfly, we're going to take a few more breaths. And then to come out of our butterfly, we're going to reach down with our hands, push the knees towards each other. And then use our hands to press into the mat. First tucking the chin towards the chest, and then press the hands to bring ourselves. Once you arrive back up, we're going to take the blocks out to the side. We're going to bring the bolster underneath the knees and legs and come into our savasana. So take the time you need to get there. Roll back down onto your back. Rock and roll in fetal pose. And then open the legs up wide, supported by the bolster. Tuck the shoulder blades down underneath you. Allow the eyes to close. And allow your attention to come to the top of the head, through the center of the mind, relaxing as you go, bringing your awareness down through the throat, the mouth, the tongue. Taking a big deep breath in the area around the heart, relaxing the collarbones, shoulders, the upper back. Taking a big deep belly breath, and then as you exhale, relaxing the belly button, back to the spine, spine onto the mat. Bring your awareness float down into the pelvis and the hips, relaxing everything, side of the pelvis, around the pelvis, and then letting your awareness continue down the leg, and the head connection to earth and relax the leg. And today, for our last class of 2022, we have today the mirror. It's pretty interesting because we all have been able to mirror each other being online together the last few years since the pandemic. When we look in the mirrors every day, we look into mirrors every day without recognizing them as portals into another realm. They can shatter, flatter, distort, reflect, and project an image back to us that we deem to be true. So when in light, the mirror is witnessing the deeper self and pure awareness. As we have been able to do through this process of being online together. Another more profound mirror is how we are a mirror and reflection of nature, whether it's from being made up of these different elements, made up of the food we've eaten, create body, air we breathe, spark and sparkle, our nervous system, like spark and sparkle stars. So here in this Shavasana, I invite you just to find whatever mirror you can connect to, connects you to nature. So maybe it's that your water body is 70% water, 80% water, and the earth reflects that back to you also 80%, 70% water. Maybe it's in the reflection of all the things the body is made up of, minerals that are deep in your bones, deep in your body, also earth. It's air that's all around us, that as you inhale, you breathe in the air. As you exhale, earth takes back the air. Maybe it's in all the firing of neurons in your brain, spark and sparkling like night sky. See if you can find a couple breaths here in this connectedness to not only us mirroring each other in the space, but you mirroring the earth, the atmosphere, micro and macro. Another big deep full breath in as you exhale, feeling the connectedness to where you're seated. You start to open and close the fingers, just extend the toes. Gently let your head move from one side to the other. Begin waking yourself up out of the Shavasana, perhaps rolling out the wrists and the ankles. And then when you're ready, take the arm bones up overhead, walk the feet back towards each other, and roll onto one side or the other. Take a couple breaths there in fetal pose on your side. And then when you're ready, whatever arm you're not lying on, press into the floor. Bring yourself up. And bring the hands to heart center. We're going to close this last class online of 2022 with a few sounds of the Brahmari pranayama, the sound of the buzzing bee humming out the sound of them. So go ahead and let all the air out of the body, exhale completely, and then take a full breath in, hum out M together. Two more like that. Big deep inhale. Last one. Bring your chin towards your chest, honor yourself. for showing up this year, whatever form that took. Meet yourself in the mirror. And then lift the head up, bring the thumbs between the eyebrows, third eye center, acknowledging all the other yogis, yoginis, human beings on the planet that all mirror us. Sometimes as triggers to show us what we need to work on, sometimes as guides to show us exactly where we've been. And we all recognize each other, know that we are connected through this device. Thanks for being here. See you in 2023.
Thanks, Rick.